You want to know why I got so angry? Because you're right. The evil queen is inside me. Always trying to get out. I can't expect you to get it.
I fought the darkness. You know I do understand.
All due respect, but you don't. You went up to the precipice, but you got pulled back before it consumed you. I was consumed, and I have to live with it every day.
I can't imagine how that feels.
It's exhausting. I'm constantly at war with my instincts. Like with Hook. My first impulse was to rip his throat out. Because it's not fair that he survives and Robin doesn't. But I didn't. Because now I know that's wrong. Much as I want to give in to evil, I don't. So I do good. I hate every moment of it.
You hate doing good?
Yes. It's complicated.
Hello. Thank you for coming. Well, I see some familiar faces. Sorry. Hi.
I'm not going to even say whether we prefer good or evil because I think that question has been answered.
I guess. Well, what do you think? Evil and good. Anyone out there? Good. We got four people that want Regina to remain good. Okay.
So let's talk about Regina. Regina has had quite the arc this season, quite the transformation, and she's now in the midst of a crisis of sorts. So let's catch up to where she is.
She is so heartbroken. For those that have been watching and are caught up, Robin Hood is no more. And Regina is in a state of shock. She's not sure why this happened, why these things keep happening to her, and she's conflicted. She's conflicted. So we can dive more into that, but I'll just say that's where she is right now.
Do you think she wants to find love again, or is she over it?
I think it's a little too soon to move on. She's not quite there yet. I think right now she's in a state of confusion and shock.
Now, at the start of the season, I know that the showrunners teased a major death. Did you guys see Robin Hood's demise coming?
No, I didn't. I didn't. I was as shocked as everyone else. But I do know that as special as their love is, it will transcend after death. Love doesn't just die because a person does. And that love is very strong still in Regina and in her heart. And, we saw what she did with Daniel when she tried to bring him back multiple times. And who knows? Who knows what will happen? Who knows what magic or science she'll try to learn or figure out and what will happen. I mean, there's so many directions this could go, and I think we'll get some answers in the season finale.
And I have to say, Regina's relationship with Emma Swan, I think, is one of the richest you see, I don't want to say on TV, I think anywhere in entertainment. It's so complex, it's so just interesting. You never see these types of female relationships that are that well developed. How did you guys create that?
Well, I think it started with the writing. It was really in the writing. These two women started off hating one another.
They were absolute enemies, not even frenemies, but enemies.
The enemies. And I'm biased because I play Regina, but I think she had a valid point. She was concerned that this woman was going to take her son away from her, and I think any adopted mother out there would understand what that threat could feel like. However, over the years, in order to keep her son, Henry, in her life, they had to figure out how to have a friendship. And over the series of events and journeys and adventures that they've had together, they've grown to be best friends. Emma and Regina, that is.
And have this one kid's interest at heart, which is kind of inspiring, really.
Yeah,
You know?
it is. It's selfless choices, right? I guess that's what you do when you're a parent.
And that's really the side, I think, of Regina, and I think you guys would agree that we've seen this season is really the selfless, giving, kind side that looks out for others. Come on, when is she going to go bad?
I know, that sounds so boring. I mean,
gosh,
it's
she
like the
helps
right thing to
others.
do, right? And
She's a
it's
good
like,
friend, blah, 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 blah.
but it's like, come on.
When are the costumes
What?
coming back?
Exactly. You know, I want to talk a little bit about that because I think this season what we have seen is Regina really trying, and over the years, really trying to make the best choices, not only for herself, but for her family. However, there's still some darkness in her. And we'll see her continue to struggle with that, with those impulses. You know, she said it in this scene, my first impulse was to rip his throat out. That's very real for her, and I don't think she knows what to do with those impulses, and she feels probably really guilty having those feelings. I think anyone would, having that darkness inside of them and those crazy thoughts that we have that we never ever utter. But, you know, Regina, because it's fairy tale, she can act upon them when she was the evil queen, and now she's realized over time and through this evolution that those choices have consequences, and so she's doing her best to make the right choices. However, those feelings, that darkness and those evil tendencies are still very much alive inside of her.
Was it liberating for you playing her darkest moments, her most unleashed moments?
Absolutely. Yes.
I would think that would be so fun.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding? I mean, if I could do that in life, I'd be in a lot of trouble, probably behind bars. But it's fun. It's fun to be able to act out, you know, in this character and to do the things that I wouldn't be able to do in life.
What characteristics of hers resonate the most with you?
My husband says I'm a heart on 2 feet, and I know. I'm not. But I have a big heart, and I love deeply, and I think Regina and I share that. Even though she has these evil tendencies and this darkness, I mean, so do I, so do many, she does have a big heart. And I think her love is very intense, and she's extremely passionate. She never gives up. These are all traits that we share.
I love that. When you signed on to do the show and you were originally presented with this role, did you have any idea of the journey that she would go on?
I didn't. I had no idea. I'm one to not ask about what's to come and where's Regina going and what's going to happen. I like to go through the experience along with the character, whatever she's going through, I'm going through, and we're experiencing it together for the first time. However, I did know, and this is just from being an artist and being in television, that, you know, television storytelling is very different than in a film. In a film, you have 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, and that's it. And there's really no end in television until the show gets canceled. So I feel like I've always had to make the choice of showing her vulnerability and her pain in order to tell more stories. Because if I strictly just play this evil queen, it's limited. There's
It's pretty one note.
Yeah. It's limited. I mean, she's not one note, but it is limited. And so I think once the writers really tapped into where this betrayal originated from, and, you know, the loss of Daniel, and where this vengeful sort of, you know, angry queen, how did she become this way? We had to go to her heart and her pain and really discover what that is. And that really helped in the development of this character and telling her story.
And I know that you're going to tell us everything that happens in the season finale.
Absolutely.
So 1, 2, 3, go.
So the show opens up with the yellow bug has wings, and Emma and Regina go flying across New York. And so much happens in the 2-hour finale. Regina's upset. She's quite angry about Robin Hood and what happened, and she doesn't
You think?
really
the
know
love
how to
of your
deal
life
with it.
gets taken away? You might be a little bit
Well,
upset.
yeah, but she's smart. She's not blaming anyone per se. I think she's confused. She sees that Hook is back, and she doesn't understand that. And why does everyone else get their happy ending and not her? And that's really her journey in the 2-hour finale, is really struggling with that. And is this karmic? Is this our karmic fate? Like, she's committed so many evil acts. She's done so many terrible things. She's slaughtered villages and families, and we all tend to forget that. But I think she's starting to, realize that maybe this is karma, and battling with that. And how does she change her fate? So we're going to see that. We're also going to see Henry and Violet, his girlfriend, go on this rogue mission and run away, and Gold is involved, and per usual. He's always up to no good, that Gold. And he is out to catch Henry, and where Emma and Regina pair up and try to stop Gold from hurting Henry and try to stop Henry from doing what he's doing, which you'll find out this Sunday. And then back in Storybrooke, we have Hook, the Charmings, and Zelina. They get sucked through some portal and into a new world, which we haven't seen yet. And we're going to meet a lot of cool new characters. We're meeting 2 new characters that I think will continue on into the 6th season.
It's actually amazing to me, first of all, that a show this cool and imaginative and different is going into a 6th season, given the way TV's going. And I mean, congratulations on that, seriously.
Thank you.
And I wanted to ask you, just, people do bad things all the time, in real life, in entertainment. Do you think that Regina deserves a happy ending?
I can't judge my character, so yes. I love her too much to say no, but I think yes, because she's doing the work, and she is honest about what she's done, and she feels ashamed for the choices that she's made, and there's real redemption there, and there has been redemption, and I think that anyone that puts the effort into really figuring out why they do these certain things, why they did these certain things in their lives, and takes responsibility for things, yes, I believe that that person does deserve a second chance. So yes, I think Regina deserves a happy ending, but how do you define a happy ending?
You know what? That's a very good question, because to her, I think a happy ending would have been being with her true love. But that's no longer an option, at least in this iteration. So, I mean, do you think she's happy as a person?
I do. I think she's getting there. I think for Regina, her happy ending doesn't necessarily lie within a partner. I think that it is peace within herself. And she said it once in an episode where she said, my happy ending is finally feeling at peace in the world. And that's a really powerful message, because your happiness isn't dependent on someone else. And that's what I love about her. And I think she realizes that. And, we can't forget how she's reconciled with her parents, how they've moved on to a better place, how her and her sister now have this incredible bond, and their blood relatives, family. So that all plays into a happy ending. So she has elements of this happy ending, but I think the final stretch is really her forgiving herself and loving herself and finding peace within herself.
Look at us having this whole existential discussion.
I know.
I love it.
But that's really how I think about it for her, and I would say she probably feels the same.
Looking out here, obviously, and online, you have a lot of very passionate fans. What do you hear the most from them? Is it that Regina is a strong, independent, outspoken woman living by her own rules? Is that what resonates with people, do you think?
I think what really resonates with people is that good can come from broken. And that's very inspiring for many. And a lot of people that watch Regina and see her journey and her struggles, they find a lot of hope in that character. She's hopeful. She wants to strive to be the best woman that she can be, and she's influenced many and inspired so many. And that's what I keep hearing from a lot of the fans, like, oh, Regina saved my life, or, I learned so much from her. And the show, not only Regina, but a lot of the characters on Once Upon a Time, and overall Once Upon a Time, our main theme is hope. And for a lot of people that are struggling and just going through tough times or illnesses, they find a lot of solace in our show, comfort. It's like a nice hour to just escape and forget about things for a while.
And live out your childhood fantasies, right? I mean, didn't you grow up on fairy tales? I definitely did.
Yes, I did. I did indeed. Hansel and Gretel was one of my favorites because of all the candy. And I wasn't allowed to eat candy for like 7 years. Thanks, Mom.
I bet your dentist thanks you.
Well, now it's like all I want is candy. So, lessons for parents. Don't take everything away from your kids, because then they become sugar addicts as adults. So.
And so how did a nice Brooklyn girl like you wind up playing the evil queen?
I know, I'm like, I'm home.
I live in Brooklyn now, so I had to give the hood a shout out,
Thank you. Brooklyn has taught me so much. I am so grateful for Brooklyn, growing up in Brooklyn at a time when it was not what it is today.
What it is today, yeah.
And I think it gave me the backbone that I have. I think it gave me the street smarts that I have, my instincts, intuition, my attitude, my don't you mess with me, you don't know my life, don't you talk to me, all right? Like, all that, but even just like that evil stare, which everyone, if you had to ride the trains at 12 years old, you had to have that look on your face, like, no. Don't even think about asking me a question. Don't even look at me. I mean, I had to develop that look growing up. And I think that probably helped a lot with the Evil Queen on some level.
No, I just you literally just took me back to the F grade right there, and I was like, oh.
Yes, Smith and Ninth was one of my stops, okay, on the F train. And I went from the R up to the F, and I ran up those stairs every day, on my way home from school. That was one of my stops. I had to transfer, and I would fly up those stairs. Yeah, I think Brooklyn has toughened me up quite a bit, and also has helped with the Evil Queen. Not fully, but it definitely has helped.
It gives you that extra edge.
It gives me that edge and that strength.
And on a slightly different note, I want to bring up one of my favorite topics, your work with animals. Because the Sheldrick Foundation that I know you work with, it rescues orphaned elephants.
They do.
And their work is absolutely, to say it's amazing is like an insult to the word amazing. So what they do is just incredible. How did you get involved?
So my husband and I went to Africa for our honeymoon. I've been wanting to go to Africa since I was 8 years old, when I used to paint my face and I thought I was a Zulu warrior. And my family thought I was crazy. And I just knew that I had this love and affinity for Africa. I had never been there, but I was so intrigued with the culture and just the country and everything. But I said, I want to wait until I meet the right person to go there with. So, and it could have been a best friend, it could have been, but actually it was both, my best friend and my husband. So we decided to go.
You're killing him.
But I know, I'm sorry, I'm not meaning to, but we decided to go for our honeymoon, and I'm really eco-conscious. I'm so green, very organic. I was raised that way. So I wanted to do everything eco, and I wanted to go to Sheldrick's. I heard about Sheldrick's from Kristen Bauer, actually, who plays Maleficent on the show, who's also a dear friend, and I adore her. She's actively involved, and she told me about Sheldrick's, and I said, oh my God, I have to go. And so Fred and I went, my husband Fred, we went, and I was so inspired. I met this one elephant, and I'll just talk briefly about her. Her name's Kwanzaa, and she was so apprehensive to like be around humans unless you were a caretaker. But even then, she didn't really let anyone touch her. And when I learned her story, she saw her mother and her sister being poached at 3 months old. And she was 3 when I met her, and she was still traumatized. And I just thought that's so fascinating, because so often we overlook how much animals remember. And they remember, and they are affected by what happened. And that just touched my heart. I never knew how special these animals were. And I sat with her for 2 hours that first day, and she ate a little something out of my hand. And then the second day I went back to visit her, and it took a little bit, but she allowed me to place my hand right on her forehead. And that just touched me in such a way. And she and I lost my father tragically. Some of you know the story. That doesn't ever leave you, and it was just something, it was a bond, there was a bond between us. And so because that experience was so special, I decided I wanted to do something and get more involved and spread the word so others can get involved, and maybe too book a trip to Africa and go have your own experience with these elephants and possibly adopt one for yourself.
Thank you so much. That's lovely. I mean, oh my God, who would ever thought the evil queen?
I know, would have like an
animals.
elephant for a pet? What is it? Love is a weakness, isn't it? Didn't she say that? Love is weakness.
Not the new and improved, Regina. The new and improved.
Elephants are the
would.
exception.
Yes. And last question before we turn over to the audience: when are the costumes coming back? Are they coming back?
Yes.
And that's all the detail.
Yeah.
We're getting okay.
Just
Fair
tune
enough.
in Sunday. You're gonna love this
Fair
episode.
enough.
It's awesome.
Here's our first question.
Yes.
Hi, Lana.
Hi.
I'm gonna try and get through this without crying because, like, it's you. So, I've been a fan ever since I was like 5 of the Evil Queen. When everyone was like Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty, I was the Evil Queen for Halloween.
Awesome.
So, thank you for giving her such justice. My question is, if Rumpel was ever to cast a spell on Storybrooke where everyone switched bodies with someone else, who would you want Regina to switch with?
I would say Captain Hook. I know a lot of people are disappointed, but like, I wouldn't want to be another woman. I would want to be a man for a second, feel what that's like. Because there's different stuff going on there. Yeah, and just to feel like, I mean, not permanently. This is just like an afternoon thing, right? We're not like, because I'm really digging the Evil Queen's everything, and I don't want to be in Captain Hook's body.
Just like
for
an
too
hour.
long.
An hour.
Okay, so then yeah, Captain Hook. Let's see what it feels like to have a hook for a hand.
Among other things. Next question.
Yes, bum.
How's it going, Lana?
Good, how are you?
Good. You talked about the similarities that you have with your character. Do you believe that an emotional attachment is essential for you and other actors to really fulfill like the essence of their characters?
Yes, absolutely. I think that's essential. Absolutely. I think one has to live their lives in a way that's very open and honest in order to portray it on film. Yeah, kind of, it's like, the analogy I like to give is, if you're a dancer, you don't show up on the day of a performance and dance and think you're gonna be great. You have to kind of practice, right? Every day leading up to it. Or if you're a singer, you have to exercise your voice for however long before that you sing. And it's the same thing for acting. It's a little trickier, but I think you have to go to these places in your life. It doesn't make life always easy, but you'll find the balance. I'm assuming you're an artist, you're an actor. So I think in your everyday, just tap into that. Because on show day, you're gonna have to deliver.
We're going to take our next question from an online viewer.
Okay.
So Mariana would like to know, can you share some of the Evil Queen's music playlist with us?
Yes. One of them is Mother by Tori Amos. One is Black by Pearl Jam. Salt and Pepper. Let's see. There's one song, it's actually a poem. Oh, God. Is it Daryl Taylor? I think he's an opera singer. I heard this song. I've never shared the story. I'm going to share it with you. It was after I booked the role, and I was driving in LA, and it was maybe May. I think it was just after we got picked up. And I was listening to KCRW, and I heard this voice, and I heard this song, and the poem is called To Artina. And I didn't know it was a poem yet. I just heard this song. And I heard this man's voice, and it almost sounds very feminine. And I pulled over, and I started recording it, and I was so moved and so inspired. And a friend of mine at the time, I played it for them, and he said, "This is a poem. I know this poem. I studied it in college." I'm like, what? Like, what are the odds that you would even remember that? And okay, cool. So he ended up finding the song for me. I do believe it's Daryl Taylor, who's the opera singer, and the title of the song is To Artina. And it is so dark, and it is really intense. And one of the things, I think one of the lines is, "I will take your heart. I will take your heart for my own." And that song, to this day, if I ever feel like, oh God, a little out of touch, or I'm not quite there, or it's been a while, I'm a little rusty, I haven't played the Queen in a bit, I'll listen to that song, and it just puts me right back in. So there you go. That's a little
Look it
gift.
up.
You're so cute. Your
Hi, Lana.
smile. Hi.
So you have the evil queen kind of covered now. So if you had the chance to portray another villain, who would you want to play?
I'm like any character that Gary Oldman's tried to do. I'm like, I love him so much. He's like one of the best villains ever. Who
Oh my
would
God,
I
a
want?
Lady Dracula.
No. Although that could be fun. I do like to bite. I think Catwoman.
Yes.
I think I would, yeah. I want to try on that costume and feel
that
like
would be
that.
super
Yeah.
hot.
But yeah, and she's a villain. Yeah. Catwoman.
Last question here, please.
Hi, Lana.
Hey.
My question is, because online, everyone has a big argument about what's the shipper name for this or what's the shipper name for that. If you had the choice to choose the exact shipper name for Regina and, what's his name again? Oh my God.
Selena?
No, not Selena. Robin, what would be the official name? Because one of the names everyone goes with is Outlaw Queen, and I personally don't like it.
So are we taking the opportunity to rename?
Yes, officially rename the shipper base.
Huh. Oh, God.
I'm not helping you on this one.
Oh, God, that's a tough one. You know, it took me a long time to come up with Evil Regals. I may need a second with this one, but what do you guys think? I mean, I don't know. What do you think? If I had to pick I think I like Regal in there just always because it's just awesome. The Regal.
The Regal Thieves?
The Regal Thieves.
I love the way you say everything you say just comes out with that. Ooh.
I like that. I like the Regal Thieves. Sold. Done. Yes. Let's go with that one.
And last question, when can we see the finale?
This Sunday. This Sunday at 8 o'clock, May 15th on ABC. It's a 2-hour season finale. Please tune in. You won't regret it. It's going to be an awesome, awesome show. You're going to love it. So
And this lady
be there or
don't
be
lie.
square.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much for being here.
Oh,
You
thank
rock.
you so much.